Can you imagine what this is?
Burnt seed?
1/3 of that tire, this made of renewable and recycled materials. Oh, there you go.
Hey there and welcome to the Continental Tires Garage, where we test the technology of the future in real life. And today we're going to take a close look at recycled and renewable production materials in tires. Is that even possible without sacrificing safety and performance? We're going to show you what a modern tire is really made of, and how Continental is preparing for the future with material intelligence. And for that, I'm very glad to have our materials expert in the studio here today, Erin Klokkers.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey there.
Are you ready to turn this garage into a tire kitchen?
Sure. Why the apron and the bottles? I thought we were talking rubber today.
Yeah, well actually, if you can hold these can be ingredients for our tires. So you can think of tires a lot like a cake. They have all these different ingredients that come together when they're baked and end up with a final tasty product. And why we're looking at bottles today is because we're actually trying to look for new renewable and recycled materials to make up our tire cake. And so when we start talking about these sustainable materials, the things that we're looking for are, do they come from renewable and recycled sources? Do they have any impact on users and the environment? And also we want to make sure they come from responsible value chains.
Sounds great.
All right, let me show you something here with our raw materials.
Sure.
So can you imagine what this is?
Burnt seed?
Close, you can pick it up if you want to try another guess. And this is actually a plant-based material. This is an agricultural byproduct. It's the husks coming from rice. So when you're producing your risotto rice, this actually is an agricultural byproduct that our suppliers can use to turn into the silica that we need for our tires.
And how do you get the silica?
They take these husks and they burn them under controlled conditions, and you end up with an ash that looks like this. The main component in there that's important to us is the silicon dioxide. And so this silicon dioxide can actually be converted into the silica that you see here using a chemical process.
Oh, that's nice and soft.
Actually, this precipitated silica is one of the key performance materials in our tires. So what the silica does is actually connect the polymers to the rest of the recipe in the tires, and it allows us to optimize the grip and the rolling resistance on the road.
That sounds like a significant ingredient in the tire recipe, but are tires made from recycled and renewable materials just as good?
Yeah. All materials that go into our tires, whether they're renewable or recycled at the start, or whether they come from conventional sources, go through the exact same testing processes. Here, you can consider this dough one of our compounds. So maybe you want to try to pick up this dough and rip it apart.
Okay, so...
Yeah, breaks pretty easily.
I'm really strong.
Yeah.
Girl. Yeah.
Probably not what we want to happen in our tires. So in this case, the silica would not have been binding so well to the polymers.
All right.
So then we would try a different recipe. Maybe here you can try to pick up.
And...
Yeah, this one's
right,
much more elastic, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is way more fun.
Yeah, right? You just like Play-Doh and yeah, exactly. Oh, there you go. And finally, if we look at this dough here, this is much more like a cake batter. And so this would be the right compound to put into our tire to make the tire cake that we want.
Makes sense.
And this is exactly what happens for renewable and recycled materials to ensure that we get the performance that we need. This type of testing, checking things out, making sure it adheres to our standards.
So can we replace all the ingredients in a tire with recycled and renewable materials?
Today, this is, let's say, the ambition for us to go in this direction. And we've definitely achieved a lot. All of these materials here actually are within that tire.
So that's rapeseed oil?
That one, exactly, the rapeseed oil here. This is coming from plant-based sources. And finally, we have some fabrics that I have on the counter which actually come from PET bottles that don't have a home in closed-loop systems.
Okay, how does that work?
These bottles are actually broken down into flakes by our suppliers who we work in close collaboration with. And they then use these flakes in their standard technology processes to produce the textiles that we need in our tires.
All right. Well, that I can relate to. My backpack is made up of 100% recycled PET bottles.
Your backpack actually probably sees different performance needs than what our tires have. And although both of them are exposed to environmental conditions like sunlight, rain, high temperatures, your backpack, if you can imagine that material, maybe gets a little bit brittle and old over time and could tear open. And we want to make sure that this doesn't happen with our tires, and that's why we adhere to these rigorous testing procedures.
So can we drive on rice husks and soda bottles alone? alone?
Our tires are made up of many different raw materials, and actually we would require some of these additional raw materials to also make up the full tire. And the combination of all of these materials are essential to ensure the performances that we need in the final tire.
I'm seeing all these materials, but how do they come together to create this big black round tire? What's the secret?
Each tire that has a different performance need needs a different recipe. And with that explanation, I'd like to show you here one of our bicycle tires. So this is the pure contact. And this here is a great example of being able to take some of these starting materials and put them into the final product and still achieve the performances that we want. We have an ambition by 2030 to have at least 40% renewable and recycled materials in our whole portfolio globally. And where we are today is actually at 26%. So you could imagine if we replaced from here to maybe like here exactly of the tire with renewable and recycled materials. And we keep working every day to increase this amount.
Should we cut it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get in there. Whew, I think we need another tool. There we go.
All right, I'm gonna get out the big stuff.
All right, my turn again. There we go. Okay, 1/3 of that tire, this made of renewable and recycled materials. We have bigger ambitions. We want to achieve more.
This one was kind of hard to cut. What about that one?
Why don't we try?
Let's go.
No, yeah.
Sorry, I think I heard the director fall off his chair. Let's try this one. There you go, that's your piece.
Some bio-based materials.
Bio-based strawberries.
Exactly.
I'm very glad. Okay. Thanks, Erin. I really learned a lot about materials today. And for example, I didn't know that renewable components don't just help protect the environment, but maybe even our lives. And that a tire cake made from recycled and renewable materials can be pretty good in the end. That's it for today from the Continental Tires Garage. On our journey, we're committed to driving change. Stay tuned for next time.